Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my ugly truth about. Today, we're doing a video on abandonment issues. So let's go ahead and get started. What are abandonment issues? Where do we get them? Where do they come from? Okay. The root cause of a lot of our abandonment issues stem from the death of a friend or a very close family member. It could be a grandparent that we were very, very close to. And when this individual dies, it can take a divot out of our brain and create an abandonment issue. For some of us, it could be abandonment of our parents, okay, if you were adopted or maybe one of them passed away when you were a child, or being forced to act as an adult when you're a child, okay? So I have about 15 signs of abandonment issues. So I did take notes so I can kind of stay on task and not get, veer too far off, because we all know I can do that. So one of the first ones is entering and maintaining unhealthy relationships, okay? A lot of the times these people will stay for fear of being alone. Okay, so they will stay in unsavory relationships when all of their friends, all of their family is saying, hey, this person treats you really, really bad and you should probably get out. But they go ahead and stay anyway. There can be verbal or physical abuse due to drugs or alcohol or both. Okay, number 2. The tendency to attach very quickly in relationships. They get very close, very fast to a friend or even a romantic partner. And that is because they are afraid that this person could leave them. Number 3, we have people pleasing, saying yes to things that they don't really want to do, but they do it even though they know it's not in their best interest to do so. Okay, so they'll actually go out of their way to make others happy, even though it may not make them happy to do so. They'll offer to take them places that they know that they don't like this place, but they know that the other person does, and then they offer to pay. Okay, number 4, envious of the relationship of other people, okay? So they can't be happy for other people because they're happy. They're always looking for ways to criticize or nitpick other people's relationships. And the reason being is because they can't feel happy in their own life. So they kind of nitpick other people and their relationships and make other people feel bad. Another one is, for number 5, reluctance or lack of desire to fully commit in a relationship. Now, I see this one a lot. They're unable to connect with a partner. They make excuses to themselves as to why they shouldn't be more involved with their partner. They ignore genuine feelings of affection, and a lot of the time they will walk away prematurely from these relationships, because they don't know how to be in a committed relationship, because no one has ever committed themselves fully to them. And if a parent passed away, they can use that as a victimization mentality. Number 6 is feeling unworthy of love. Feeling of being abandoned is intertwined with feelings of loss. Feelings that they'll never be loved that way ever again. So they'll keep it as like a surface layer love, okay, or a surface level love, excuse me. They'll leave before someone leaves them, and that tends to be a lot of their defense mechanisms, because they don't feel like, it's almost like when you say, I will never be loved that way ever again, you're not supposed to be loved that way ever again. That's what makes each and every individual unique in their own way. Another one, number 7, would be avoidance of emotional intimacy, feeling unworthy of love. And that goes back to leaving before someone leaves you being your defense mechanisms, okay? So, they would rather, instead of having an emotional intimacy, they just have physical intimacy. It's that the clandestine affairs, ending up with somebody who's already married, and waiting on them to leave their wife. But then when they leave their wife, you didn't really want them anyway. So it's almost kind of like, I get of that runner chaser dynamic. Number 8 is insecurity and self-doubt, also known as low self-esteem. What is insecurity? It's a lack of self-confidence, okay? It can be negative thoughts about another person's perception on your appearance or maybe even on your intelligence. Self-doubt is believing negative statements about yourself. It's believing your thoughts about being ugly or stupid or clumsy, etc. Also known as low self-esteem. Number 9 is jealousy or thoughts of unfaithfulness on behalf of your partner. Okay, paranoia could be a major factor in someone who has abandonment issues. You know, paranoia can be an obsession, believing that your partner is cheating on you, even though they've been consistent in everything they say they're going to do. But no matter what, they'll believe that their partner is cheating. Okay. And they will find every reason. They'll always search your phone. They call you whenever you're gone. They can't handle you being away for long periods of time. It can be feelings of not being good enough. No amount of rational or reasonable explanation can convince this person otherwise. Okay. Number 10 is difficulties with trusting others. And that's a really big one in all of this, is it's really hard to trust other people that they're going to stick around or that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, because whoever abandoned them in the first place and whatever those reasonings were, they have no reason in their mind to trust anyone and anything that they say. And this includes anyone in their social circle. It can be their family, partner, children, you know. They're constantly always carrying suspicion that someone is going to do them wrong. It's not normal, okay? That is not normal, especially when that person has always been consistent in everything they say they'll do. Number 11, they can't tolerate long periods of separation. Say you're going out with a girlfriend, you know, the girlfriends tonight or the guy friends tonight, right? And this person gets anxiety knowing that you're going to be gone for a while. So they start having these irrational fears, thinking that you're out cheating on them. And, you know, they start calling you and texting you, and they show up where you are. They can't bear to be without you. And they become very depressed. And then they can also become very irrational. This can also be something that can also become quite deadly, all right? If I can't have you, no one else can. So it's almost like that Romeo and Juliet. So they'll start believing that you're cheating on them if you don't call them back. They could start thinking that maybe you were in some type of an accident. And so they start checking the hospitals looking for you. They go out driving looking for you to see if you're where you said you were going to be. That is a sign that you guys need to be very careful about, okay? Number 12 is somebody who is very overly controlling. And we all know those people, whether you've had that happen to you with your parents where they've been over controlling, maybe because one of their family members left them, they died, you know, they went on a long drive and they passed away because of a car accident. And now, you know, we have these helicopter parents that, you know, or, you know, even partners or friends that, you know, they want to know your every step. So they can be very overly controlling and try to control every aspect of the relationship. Number 13, and I talked about this one the other day on my podcast, The Ugly Truth About Emotionally Unavailable Partners and Relationships, okay? So this one is picking partners that are emotionally unavailable, non-committal, already married. I talked about that before. Not interested in a serious relationship. They're trying to keep it very surface level, physical only, and possibly even just casual dating. Number 14 is relationship sabotage, okay? Picking arguments just for the sake of picking them, finding faults, false accusations, saying anything to their partners or friends to try to get them to leave ultimately so that they can go, see, I told you that you were going to leave. You were going to be like everyone else, okay? So, but deep down inside, they also know that there is nothing wrong with this relationship, but they'll push them out of their life because it's on their terms and not on the other individual's terms. So they self-sabotage. Number 15 is self-blame for the breakups, okay? So they take a lot of blame for the breakups that have happened in their lives. They take blame for, a parent passing away. They could have done more. They should have done more, or when people leave them, they really knock themselves down and they take it to heart. They think it's all their fault. And even though it's actually not. When going through a lot of these abandonment issues, we can have triggers in our lives that can stimulate us, that can make, throw us for a loop. Now, for me, I had abandonment issues from birth because when I was 4 months old, I was given up for adoption, okay? And so because of that, my whole life, I always felt like people were going to leave. And I would do a lot of those things, is push people away before they could push me away. And what I didn't realize is that it was trickling down into other areas of my life. So whenever I would get fired from a job, I would go through an entire upheaval. I mean, I would go into a dark night of the soul, depression, suicidal, because again, financial abandonment is still abandonment in my life, right? And so that can be a trigger that is underlying because again, you feel like a failure because not only is it financial abandonment, but you're also abandoning your coworkers that really looked up to you. You're abandoning the patrons or the clients or the patients or, just the customers that came to see you on a regular basis. And how are these people ever going to find me? Okay. And so because of those things, we can go through major upheaval. You could get into a car accident and your car is totaled. And I did this one. I was very, very attached to my vehicles. And I had a friend, who I thought was a friend, total my entire car when I let her borrow it to take her kids to school because I had a sick baby at home and couldn't take her and was doing a nice thing for what I thought was a friend. And she ended up totaling my vehicle. And it wasn't even the fact that she, her portion of what she had done, but I went into a major panic. I had a total separation anxiety because that car was a part of my family. And I named my vehicles. That's how intense of a relationship that I have with my cars. They're a part of my family. They're with me every day. They take me from point A to point B back to point A again. So whenever I had lost a vehicle, I would go into another dark night of the soul. So when we have these abandonment issues, it is very important that we work through those so that we don't allow them to bleed onto every single other relationship that we come into. Not everybody on earth is sent here to hurt us, but the universe will send in these people to trigger us to see if that is a wound that still needs to be healed. Now, will we ever fully heal from abandonment issues? Well, that all depends. I don't think that we ever fully heal from anything. I think that there's always going to be a muscle memory in that area that we will always be triggered by just to see how will we react or how will we respond? So it is very important that when we end up going through a breakup, with a romantic partner or a family member, that we give ourselves time to heal. That we don't just jump from relationship to relationship because, again, that's an abandonment issue. We were just abandoned by someone that we loved very dearly. We could have sabotaged it ourselves, but then we turn around and we jump into another relationship because we don't want to be alone. What we have to learn how to do is start learning to love our own company. And it takes a long while. And so for 8.5 years, I stayed single. And I've been divorced now for over right about 20 years. I think it's been 20 years now that I've been single, and the majority of that 20 years. And so what I did was I worked on a lot of those abandonment issues so that I could avoid doing a lot of the steps that I took to stay out of relationships that would last long periods of time. So now I know how to avoid emotionally unavailable partners and keep myself from people who are obsessed or try to attach to me because of their own abandonment issues. So because we tend to reflect back these mirrors of ourselves. So, when we have abandonment issues, we'll tend to, lock on to other people that also have abandonment issues. So they want to be with you all the time, and they can't handle it when you're not on the phone with them or they're not in your sphere 24/7. And they start, making up scenarios in their minds about what you're doing, and if you're not home on time and you said you were going to call at this time. And so you really have to look out for a lot of the red flags, because red flags are not just shiny little things put there for you to look at and enjoy. They're put there for you to actually see from a mile away, so you know how to maneuver through those situations and help teach other people how to maneuver them as well, because the student finally becomes the teacher. So it is very important after a breakup that you don't just jump from one relationship to another relationship, because all you're going to do is manifest the same situation with just another player in the game. Okay? So, and if another thing too is if you're always worried that you're going to be cheated on, because every relationship that you've ever been cheated or that you've ever been in, you've been cheated on, you're going to manifest somebody who's going to cheat on you, because you tell the universe, I don't want somebody who's going to cheat on me. Well, the universe doesn't hear the don't. It hears the I want. So you only want to tell the universe what you want to manifest. I want to manifest a happy, healthy, loving bond. I want to manifest, someone in that is going to, stand the test of time, a new best friend to walk through life with, but not, you don't want to tell them, I don't want somebody who's controlling, because they're going to send you someone in who's controlling. So we really have to be very mindful about our own triggers so that we don't manifest a mere reflection of what it is that triggers us. So if you have abandonment issues, you're going to manifest somebody who's going to abandon you. And usually these people don't even have that in their heart or mind to do so. But you have slowly given them little triggers to get them to abandon you, and you don't even realize that you're doing it. So be very cautious and very leery if you have been through these experiences, or if you know that the people around you, whoever it is that you're dealing with, has also had these issues. Be sensitive to these people. There's nothing wrong with them. They don't have a medical, it's not a mental health disorder like, they want you to believe and that we need to be medicated. It's just something internally that we need to work on. And one of the best things that I could have done for myself was actually move to Hawaii. It's hard to have abandonment issues in Hawaii. I live in a fucking island. People abandon all the time. A volcano goes off and boom, all of a sudden you see a flood of people leaving. What am I going to do? I mean, what's the best that I can do? Sit around and cry about it? I lost another friend? No, that's why we have video chat. That's why we have cell phones. That's why we have internet, So another one is, we have we can be abandoned at all times, okay? I mean, shit, the rising of the cost, it's like people are like this, it's too expensive to live here. Now there's no jobs, everybody wants you to work for pennies on the dollar, but yet, your wages are $600 a month, but your mortgage is $3,000. People can't afford that. So you're going to be abandoned because of that. Not only that, you're not only just abandoning your friends and the people and what you consider family, you're abandoning your home. You're abandoning your lifestyle. You're abandoning your livelihood. You're abandoning everything around you. So that can also be a trigger. And so we have to learn how to embrace change. Because regardless of what we're going through and how it makes us feel, the only guarantees in life is death, taxes, and change. So please keep that in mind. And if you need help working through your abandonment issues, please feel free to schedule a session with me, and I would be happy to help you work through whatever issues it is that you are working through at this time. Anyway, you guys, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I love doing these podcasts. I hope you guys really like them. Please give it a thumbs up. It does help my channel grow and gets me into the algorithm. Also, thank you to those of you who have purchased me a cup of coffee. I really do appreciate it. It does motivate me to continue doing what I'm doing. Every little bit helps. And you guys, I love you so very much. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram, and I will chat with you again soon. Take care.